Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fan Dummies. I'm Greg.
And I'm Aaron.
Today, we're going to talk about Season 1 of Helstrom. We're going to talk about what Helstrom is, who plays in it, what we thought of the series, and what's going on with Season 2. And maybe some of the other Marvel properties that are kind of lumped in together with Helstrom. For our patrons, we're going to break down this last episode, which needs a little breaking down. So if you're a patron, look forward to that. If you are new to Fan Dummies, we talk about superheroes, sci-fi, and fantasy every single week. You can find us on YouTube or in your favorite podcast app. Hit that subscribe button. Join the Fan Dummies family. Hulu is sponsoring this episode, and we greatly appreciate it. More about that at the midpoint of this episode. For the first half of this episode, it's going to be spoiler-free. The spoilers are going to come in the second half. We're going to try our best to not have any boo-boos before then.
No spoiler slips?
No SS's. If you haven't seen Helstrom, which I'm guessing most of you haven't, when you hear the mid-roll ads, that's when you know it's about to get real. We also have a Facebook group you can join if you want to talk Helstrom. It's called Marvel's Helstrom and Hulu in parentheses. We started a group because I think this property needs more attention than it's getting. And it'll be fun to talk about it. Ready to get into this, Aaron?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. What is Helstrom? Or who is Helstrom, really? Damon and Anna Helstrom are the son and daughter of a mysterious and powerful serial killer. The siblings have a complicated dynamic as they track down the terrorizing worst of humanity, each with their attitude and skills. This is a funny Marvel property.
Yeah, it's really not funny.
No, it's more like funny strange.
Mm-hmm. Even though Marvel isn't mentioned anywhere except in an opening credit, Helstrom is a Marvel show that is loosely based on the comic books. It's just little bitty, like if you blinked, you'd probably miss it.
Yeah, I think it moved more toward the comic books later. It was very loose.
It felt like Marvel tried to distance themselves from the original religiously based storyline.
For sure.
Marvel even went as far as removing an L from Helstrom. They work hard to say lines in the show such as, "What the church told you isn't true." And the demons in this show are entities from another dimension referred to as Shadow Side.
Yeah, that's really different. And it makes it seem more like Warrior Nun, which we talked about in episode 93. In Warrior Nun, it was absolutely not heaven and hell. It was more like people from another dimension. Well, it is based on a comic, and Damon's first appearance is actually in Ghost Rider 1973. In the comics, Damon wore leather pants and is always shirtless and has a cape on. He's got like a huge pentagram on his chest. It's super 70s. I mean, if he had like a guitar that was shaped like a Star Trek badge, right? It was like real sparkly.
I like how you say the guitar is shaped like a Star Trek badge.
How else would I describe the shape? Boomerang shaped guitar. That's what they played in the 70s, like every rock star.
And Anna, Damon's sister, she appeared first in Vampire Tales #2 from 1973. In the comics, Anna is named Satana, so that's different.
I mean, if Satan had a daughter, it's like Gregina.
Oh my gosh.
That'll be one evil kid. Gregina.
And in the comics, she dresses more risque, but that just wouldn't be good for the show. I don't think they could pull it off.
It couldn't be on Hulu. It'd have to be on like Showtime.
But I can't say any spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. But this show, they really modernized it. It was super modern.
I think that's good, though. I don't know if those comics would have held up. If he would have walked around in leather pants and no shirt and a cape, it'd be a little weird. Yeah. People would be like, be a little chilly for one thing.
In the comics, though, there's a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, there's Ghost Rider, there's other superheroes, there's supervillains. So it's probably not out of the norm that you see someone walking around with no shirt on a cape. You think, oh, well, that's Damon Helstrom. You know, it's like in My Hero Academia, right, where there's heroes and villains everywhere. So you see somebody wearing like a cape and you're just like, oh, well.
I thought you were going to say like One Punch Man, when people actually know the heroes, if you're like C-class and above.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the same trope, two different shows.
Henry the Caretaker in the show, he's based on two versions from the comics. One of them, he wears a big old floppy hat and he whacks people over the head with a shovel. And the one that he's probably based on more is a woman. And she belonged to an occult organization called The Blood. And the Blood are dedicated to fighting evil. Which sounds pretty much like the woman.
Yeah.
But in the show, did you notice that he had... Oh. No spoilers. This is really hard.
You can say if he had a floppy hat. That's not a spoiler.
Well, in the show, there's an Easter egg, and they gave him a shovel.
Nice.
I don't know if it was in the first episode. It was in one of the beginning ones.
I mean, the Blood does make an appearance in this show. That's not a spoiler. And there is a woman that leads it.
Yeah, but it's not Henry.
It's not Henry. If you want to learn more about Damon Helstrom and the comic history of that character, check out JL's comics. He did a great video on this, and it was really comprehensive, and it wasn't super long. So it was easy to digest. We'll put a link in the show notes below, but we're not going to do a comic book deep dive on this one. So you just have to get it from JL's comics. Let's get into the people and actors of Helstrom. Most of these people were complete unknowns to us. I mean, you have the showrunner and writer, Paul Bashevsky. He was also the co-executive producer, then executive producer for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and even got to write some episodes for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He is, or was, the supervising producer, then co-executive producer for Lost. Even though I have no idea who Paul Bashevsky is, he's been a part of a lot of stuff I've watched. So nice job, Paul.
Now you know who he is.
I guess so.
You'll never forget him.
I will forget him instantly as soon as we're done with this segment.
Damon Helstrom, he's played by Tom Austin. And you might have seen him in The Royals.
No, I didn't.
He's in a lot of British like movies or shows. Or
is he British? You called that.
Yeah.
You said...
No, we saw him at Comic-Con and I recognize his accent.
I know, but you said during the show, you said something's wrong with the English in this show.
Yeah, well, you can always kind of tell when...
British people are playing American accents.
Or vice versa or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you try to speak in a different accent than you normally do. It's just like a little off. There's just something. I think he did a pretty good job, though.
He did a good job. Like in Lucifer when Tom Ellis tries to have the American accent. It's so bad.
Tom, you need to talk to Tom.
Yeah.
And help Tom Ellis out with his American accent.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, Tom Austin did a much better job than Tom Ellis, for sure, with the American accent.
Anna Helstrom, she's played by Sydney Lemon. And you might have seen her in Fear the Walking Dead.
What?
She was Isabella in 2 episodes in 2019. So that was probably after we stopped watching it. I don't remember. I didn't want to look it up because I didn't want to see any spoilers. Because I know we'll probably go back and watch it.
Seems familiar. Okay.
She was also in a Broadway play called The Parisian Woman. And Uma Thurman was in that play as well. So I thought that was kind of fun because we just talked about Uma Thurman.
Yeah. If Uma Thurman doesn't have a samurai sword, I'm not interested.
Or poison ivy vines and plants growing around her.
No, she sucked in that movie.
Oh.
Talking about Batman and Robin. Horrible.
Yes. And the other Helstrom we're going to talk about is Victoria Helstrom.
Mm-hmm.
And she's played by Elizabeth Marvel. Does she own the Marvel company?
No.
Okay. I like how her name's Marvel.
We laughed at that on the Comic-Con panel.
But you might have seen her in Homeland or Law and Order Special Victims Unit or House of Cards. She's not in anything that we've seen.
You called this one too. You said, I bet these people are in a bunch of cop shows that we don't watch.
No. A lot of these actors are in cop dramas and we don't watch any of that stuff.
Because there's millions of them. Like anybody working is in a cop drama.
Yeah. I know a couple of these, I don't remember who they were, but a couple of these actors were in ER. And I chuckled about them like, they worked with George Clooney.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Gabriella Rossetti, who is played by Ariana Guerrera. And you might have seen her in Raising Dion, which I do want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a supernatural thing or like a superhero thing.
Yeah, like the son has superhero powers and they
Yeah.
have to figure out how to raise them, I think. I don't know.
We saw
Is
that
that
on
on
Netflix.
Netflix? Okay.
Yeah. That's been on our to watch list for a while.
Should we watch it? Yes or no?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Tell us in the comments if we should watch it. It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Dr. Louise Hastings, who is played by June Carroll, who I thought did an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
You might have seen her in Mindhunter, which Aaron won't let me watch, or One Fine Christmas, which I'm sure I probably could watch if I wanted to.
Yes. I think that's an Oprah movie or like a Harpo. That's why I put it in.
Yeah. But Mindhunter is also on Netflix, and we started watching like one episode
Did
of that.
we?
Yeah, and you're like, this ain't for me. It's just one of those where
Spooky?
not super spooky. But this one I put on my list to watch in airplanes, but then I don't fly anymore. So
I shouldn't laugh at that. I just laugh because Greg puts stuff on lists and he never gets to.
I have a whole other life that I live flying in airplanes and watching things that Aaron doesn't watch, like Billions and all sorts of really fun
and all
shows.
those books that you read too.
Yeah, I've really cut down on reading books now that I don't travel, which is really sad. Next, we have Caretaker, a.k.a. Henry, who is played by Robert Wisdom, who, as soon as I saw him, I was like, yes, I love this guy.
Yeah.
I remember him from The Dark Knight Rises. He was the army captain at the bridge. I've seen him in Supernatural. He played Uriel, which he had a pretty big role in Supernatural.
Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of stuff. I bet you if we looked at IMDb, we would see that he's in a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah. A lot of these people were in a lot of stuff.
Then there's Chris Yen, who is played by Elaine Uy. And you might have seen him in The Morning Show or Paper Tigers. Any of those ring a bell?
Yeah, The Morning Show is that one on Apple Plus with Steve Carell and Jennifer Aniston.
Now, which of these characters and or actors were your favorite?
I picked two. Broke the rules.
Of course. Let me guess, like Damon.
Yes. Damon
And Anna.
Anna.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
You picked the
Why did
vanilla...
I like them, Greg? You just going to tell me this too?
Yeah. You picked the pumpkin spice latte of characters.
Well, if you just keep listening, you'll hear my runner-ups in a later segment because I talk about them later.
Okay. Well,
They're really close.
Tell us why you picked this one then.
I thought that they were both really great actors. And for not knowing them in anything else and seeing them before, I thought they did a really good job. I liked how each of them had supernatural powers as well. I thought that was pretty neat.
The supernatural powers were awesome. Tom Austin, I think, did a great job. Sydney Lemon did a decent job. I think Tom Austin was pretty amazing. Yeah. She did a nice job too, Sydney Lemon.
Yeah.
I thought Tom Austin was in a class of his own with Damon.
Damon was just a good guy, I thought, deep down. Like, even with all the craziness that went on in his life when he was younger. I really liked the idea of him just helping his mom no matter how bad his mom was. I thought that was pretty good of him because, he had a really bad upbringing and I thought that was pretty neat because he always tried to keep the family together. And he was always kind of the one that was apologizing, I think, to Anna, and trying to bring the family back together, which I like that.
I'm not going to say any spoilers, but I get what you're saying. And people will pick up on what we said here when they watch the show. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, oh, I see what you mean by keeping the family together and wanting to do that stuff.
Yeah. But I thought Damon's powers were really cool. I just wish we would have gotten to see more of his powers. Like they should have broke them out earlier than they did.
I'm going to mention that in the review section after the mid-roll where we can really get into the deep spoilers. Uh-huh. But I agree with you. We didn't get to see Laser Eyes until episode 10. It was crazy. It was just crazy.
Yeah, one of the reasons I liked Anna so much is that her look was very unique. Couldn't get over like her clothes and her hairstyle. We watch so many supernatural type shows, and usually the women, they're kind of more like down to earth. I don't know. They're not anything like her. And I just thought she had a very unique look to her, and I liked it a lot.
You know what she reminded me of? She was like the personification of a 1980s modern house. Yeah, like square and white and shiny.
You thought it was basic? I thought she was extreme opposite of a pumpkin spice latte.
No, I mean, I think she looked amazing. It's just that she looked like 80s modern. I don't know how best to describe it, but it was all like white and black leather. Just reminded me of like a VH1 video. You know what I mean? Everybody listening's like, they don't even know what VH1 is, but there was 2 channels that played music, not just MTV.
Is VH1 even around?
I don't know. But like in the 80s, it was an 80s look. Uh-huh. That's what I'm trying to say. Like you totally see her with like lasers and lots of triangles.
Yeah.
And smoke and like in a Duran Duran video.
Uh-huh. But it was crazy and different. And I liked it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, everything that's old is new again. Mm-hmm. My favorite character was actually Chris Yen, played by Elaine Uy, who I think just was an amazing actor, quite frankly.
Yeah, he did a good job.
The Chris character is what I really liked. Elaine played him perfectly, but the writing for that character is what I really enjoyed. We saw him with a lot of drama, and I'm not going to say too many spoilers. He went through a crisis and eventually had to overcome some serious crap and kind of fulfill his true potential.
Spoilers. And he's just a guy, Greg. He's just a guy.
He could have just had to make that antique sale. Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Must have been a pretty epic antiquities sale.
Yeah, I don't want to give away any spoilers this early in the show, but I like how the writers gave Chris like a hero's journey. That's the best way to say it, maybe. And when you see it, if you haven't watched the show, just keep your eyes peeled for Chris. That's all I'm saying. He turns out really fun. Before we get into spoiler territory, we wanted to mention this episode is brought to you by the Hulu original series Helstrom.
We know many of you are here because you love our Marvel content.
Helstrom is a darker, more chilling and supernatural side of the MCU.
Helstrom is produced by Marvel Television and is based on characters by Marvel Comics.
Now, we have been talking Helstrom all episode, but if you haven't picked up on it, it's not all capes and karate chops.
Helstrom leans much more into horror and is not your typical superhero series.
Now, we love when our superheroes are complicated and they have demons to work out. All episodes of Hulu's Helstrom are now streaming only on Hulu.
Streaming right in time for Halloween, a mature, scary, mysterious, action-packed series.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it because we are about to get into some major spoilers. We want to say thanks again to Hulu for sponsoring this episode. If you want to support Fandummies, please check out our Patreon. For $5, you get a bunch of benefits. You get an episode early. Sometimes it's an hour early. Sometimes it's a couple days early. Just depends on when we get it done. It's always ad-free. So that's the 2 main things you get. It's ad-free all the time. Get it early every time. And sometimes, like today, there's exclusive segments. There's also polls, which every time I put one out, I'm always disgruntled about. So I'm like, They always pick the one I don't want to pick. But that's why we have them. So that I don't do what I want, I do what you want. Both audio and video, all in a single membership. So you're not going to have to pay more for video. If you're watching us on YouTube and you want to see this extra segment, you get this great video. Right in Patreon. You have to download the Patreon app. But you get it right on the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/fandummies. We will put the link in the show notes below. All right, everybody. Spoilers from here on out in this episode. We're going to get into it. We're going to finally talk unbuckled. Thanksgiving is over. We've sat back in the chair. It's time for some spoilers. We binged Helstrom over the course of Friday and Saturday. It's 10 episodes. Some of them are like 43 minutes. Some of them are like 55 minutes. Somewhere in that range. Aaron, you want to kick us off? What's your review?
Yes.
Give it to us.
I think Helstrom is worth watching, even though it's just one season. I kind of tell myself maybe it's just like one extended long movie instead. Because well, why not? It seems like 99% of the time, we don't know if shows are getting picked up for a second season as we're watching the first one. So this is really no difference, than if you watched it and then just act like you don't know it's going to not keep going.
The problem is I think people are going to hesitate to put any time into this.
Yeah. That's why I say, if you like horror, if you like Marvel, then, give it a go.
I think we should have a petition to get this season 2.
Could happen.
It was really good.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it started out pretty strong, but as it ended in a totally different way that I never thought would happen. And it kind of made me a little salty about it, I guess. I didn't really like the way it ended at all.
For sure. Yes.
But I thought the actors, all of them, did a really great job. My runner-up for best actors would be the caretaker, Henry, and Dr. Louise Hastings. Yep. There's just some kind of connection between them two that I just really loved. And they got to bond over a taco truck.
Which is really good.
That's the best part.
They have some serious chemistry.
Something's going on
Even
there.
in real life, I think they have some chemistry.
You think?
Not like romantic in real life, but
friends?
I'm just saying like their souls vibed when they were working together on set. Like there's just something about them.
Yeah, I liked it. I almost picked them as my top characters in this show, but I just can't pass up the Helstrom siblings.
They're really good. They were cast well. They acted well. I think they did a nice job.
And overall, this show is horror, but I didn't think it was super scary at all.
It was suspenseful.
Yeah, we don't usually watch a lot of horror just because of me. And I'm always like, no, it's too scary. I'm not going to be able to sleep. Sleep with one eye open and the lights on. Or maybe just the fact that when we watch horror, it's more supernatural or vampires. And this really reminded me of that type of show. Yeah. Like it wasn't out of the ordinary, I don't think. There's nothing in it that I haven't really seen before. Is there?
No, it wasn't like The Hills Have Eyes or whatever. Like Children of the Corn. Woo! No, thank you.
There were a lot of suspenseful moments in the show, like Greg said. And sometimes you didn't know if it was a dream or if it was real life. And I think that made it even more scary to me.
I do believe that the Helstroms have visions or can speak with the demons while they're sleeping.
Yeah, it made it a little bit more scary, I think.
Yeah.
One last thing. I think they could have progressed the story a little bit faster and even add a little bit more action, especially wanted to see more of the siblings using their powers.
For sure. It needed that terribly. In my opinion, they missed a perfect opportunity to have some sort of superpower standoff as the final, like a final boss battle, which is what they should have done.
We didn't even see Damon uses powers. It was a few episodes in, and all of a sudden, he starts doing stuff and levitating people or
we have
catching
no
people
idea.
on fire, and then I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like,
yeah, I should have been doing this right away. I really didn't know what to expect from Helstrom. I didn't read any of the comic books. I stay away from comics like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pumpkin spice latte kind of comic book reader.
Yeah. It seems like the more of these horror supernatural comic shows or movies that we watch, it makes me go, maybe we should be reading some of these comics. I mean, we do watch The Walking Dead, and that's based on horror comic, but we watched the DC Justice League Dark movie. Mm-hmm. That was very supernatural.
Don't you read, or you used to read the Outcast comics? Wasn't that the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have, we haven't gone to the comic book store in a while. Hopefully they're safe on our stuff.
Yeah, no.
But I have all those, since it first started.
I honestly didn't even know that this comic book character existed. And I've read a lot of Ghost Rider. Mm-hmm. My cousin Jeff used to collect Ghost Rider like crazy when we were young. That's where I was exposed to that. But honestly, I didn't really like Ghost Rider then, nor do I really like Ghost Rider now. It's kind of a, personal preference. People like different stuff.
Yeah. Did you like them on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Not really.
No?
Mm-mm. The other strange thing is the teaser trailer, when we originally watched it, was really bad.
Oh, yeah.
We watched it and we thought, oh no, because we knew that we were going to have to do an episode and that kind of stuff was coming up. And we were just like, are we really going to watch this? I mean, it just looked really bad.
Yeah. Did you go back and watch the trailer, or did they recut the trailer?
So I went back and I rewatched not only the original teaser, but the original trailer. And they were good.
You think?
Yes. Now that I know what the show is, the trailers were awesome. But watching them the first time, not knowing anything about it, they picked terrible scenes for a trailer.
I need to go back and watch that.
Not only that, there's some scenes in the trailer that weren't in the show.
What?
Yeah. A couple of them.
You think they got cut? They're tricking us.
They must have gotten cut. I saw some of them and I went, that wasn't in the show.
Really?
Yeah. But overall, I really liked it. And before I talk about the good, I want to talk about the bad, because I want to end on the good because it was more good than bad. And I don't want people to remember the bad as much as they remember the good. So I'll start with the bad.
Give it to us, Gary.
Give it to you. The story was disjointed. The last few episodes were more like season 2. The first episodes were more like season 1. They were 2 completely different shows. About episode 4, some weird stuff started happening. Some stuff that I was like, what? What am I watching?
Yeah.
As soon as the mom came out of her demon coma thing, the show got way worse. They spent so much time in the beginning explaining the family issues of the Helstroms and all that you didn't even get to see the hints of the demon mother. You should have seen her calculating her master plan. It should have shown her communing with the demons and making plans, but yet Damon and Anna didn't know what was going on. And you see them fall in her trap. That would have been amazing. That's the great thing about a lot of these shows that you watch, is you see the enemy side and the good person side, but they don't know. The characters don't know. So you're like, don't go in there. Remember in The Walking Dead when the Whisperer doctor had killed and Rosita came in and she's like, what's going on? You're like, don't go in there, because you've seen both sides.
Yes.
That's how you make suspense. The watcher of the show has to know what's going on with the bad people and the good people.
Yeah.
That's how it gets to be real creepy.
Interesting. Paul's not known for making horror.
Instead, what happened is it was more like a mediocre show where you had to kind of remember all these threads that were going on. And then you had to oh, okay, I see, understand. Oh, I get it. When the guy they think is their dad grabs Anna's leg and she realizes that's not her dad, it isn't clear that that's the mother demon's son. It isn't clear then. You don't know who that is until later.
They don't even know, though.
No, Damon and Anna don't know. But Mother, the demon mother, obviously knows because she's in the truck, right? And she's like laughing, haha. I'm thinking to myself, what just happened?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense to me. But Damon and Anna in the show seemed like they had it all figured out. Like, oh my gosh, I figured it out. I'm like, well, I haven't. Can you tell me?
That's why I thought that the story didn't move fast enough.
Yeah.
Like they could have filled in a lot of those potholes and storylines way faster and moved the story along. Gave us more.
Yeah. Now on to the good. Okay. So it was really good seeing Damon and Anna flex their superpowers in combating the demons, right? It was really, really fun. It was visually stunning. Damon's chest would glow. He would burn his shirt. Like, it was awesome.
Uh-huh.
When they were flexing their superpowers, it felt like it could take the niche that's missing in TV right now, that supernatural show niche, right? Like the actual show Supernatural is over.
Yeah.
And we don't really have like a demon hunting, monster hunting show out right now. That's any good, at least. This could have been it. It so could have been it. And it's got the right cast. It's got the right stories. It's got the right history with Marvel. I love the fact that when the demons were excised, that they roam the earth. They don't go to hell or heaven or wherever. It gives it some substance that you have to consider. Like, do I save this person and let the demon out? Or do I not? That sort of moral complexity is very interesting in TV.
Yeah, that's different than a lot of demon hunting shows we've watched.
Exactly. The universe had rules. And the rules are what makes TV fun. Like, you have to use your brain a little bit. You have to kind of figure things out, and it makes it to where you can be a fan and have something to talk about. I absolutely recommend watching this show, even though it's only one season. It's better than almost everything that's out right now. If you think about the stuff that's out, if you're looking for something new,
it's not as good as What We Do in the Shadows.
It's not. If you have Hulu, you've already watched What We Do in the Shadows.
But it's totally different. And it's horror.
Yeah. It's barely horror.
Comedy horror.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah. I also really enjoyed this break from what we normally watch to watch this show.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you rate this out of 5 stars?
I don't know. I was thinking like maybe 3.5 for
3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, not quite 4. I don't think. I think it could have been a 4 if it didn't end the way that it did.
Yep.
But the fact that it did, I was like, nope.
The whole baby thing was a complete screw up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would rate this a 3.5 out of 5 also. I think they needed an episode or 2 more to really connect what's happening in the story, or they needed to speed it up, like you said. One of the two. We should have gotten some pretense into what Mother was thinking. We had no idea she was controlling the skull or what was going on, right? Like, I still don't understand how she was doing it and why she waited 20 years of being in the mental institution to do it.
They weren't shooting a show 20 years ago, Gary.
See what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Like, it's been there the whole time.
If they would have just done those couple things, then it would have gotten another half a star. If they would have scratched the whole baby thing completely, what should have happened is the mother possessed by a super strong demon. Something catastrophic should happen to bring Damon and Anna together, where they go battle demons and they learn that combined, they're more powerful than they are separate. In the very end, they go and together excise the demon from their mother and live happily ever after. Boom. Season 1. Right? They could have just been battling crazy demons all season. And then while they were learning how strong they were and showing us their sweet powers and doing the things that they were doing, and then go on and save their mom, cure Dr. Hastings of her cancer, kick the crap out of some bloods, it would have been a good show. Like, I would have been high-fiving. put in some of the scary stuff, so you're just not sure what's going to happen. Damon sets some things on fire. It would have been amazing. But no, it was.
Yeah, it was almost too wibbly wobbly in the storylines.
It was good. It had potential to be great, but it was good.
I still enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot, actually. If they had a season 2, I would totally tune in because I think this kind of nonsense with the baby is over.
No, it's not.
It is.
The baby's still alive.
Well, I know, but now they're going to battle it. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to grow up to be a bad demon, and they're going to have to battle her, which I think is going to be cool. Like, that's what they needed to do, the season 1.
Yeah. Maybe they should have started out with just having the little kid there.
Yeah.
And explaining how it came about.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about that later, though. Ready to talk about the future of Marvel TV on Hulu and any Helstrom season 2 info?
Yeah.
We've said it about 1,000 times in this show, but there is no season 2. This show was canceled before it even started, and it wasn't because the show is bad or good or whatever. It's because of a couple of reasons. The Hollywood Reporter announced that Marvel canceled the overall deals for 2 of their shows due to the virus. The 2 individual showrunners that were affected were Steve Lightfoot, who ran The Punisher on Netflix, and Paul Bashevsky, who was the showrunner of Helstrom. Too bad. I don't know if this is true. I think that companies are doing a lot of stuff right now because of the virus.
Yeah, they just use it as an excuse.
Yeah. And
plus, they don't ever tell us the real reasons. Is people just I think some people just speculate, and that just is what gets picked up.
What do you think?
Also at this time, Jeff Loeb, he's the head of Marvel Television, and he quit, and Kevin Feige was promoted as Chief Creative Officer at Marvel Studios. And this Helstrom series and Ghost Rider, they were both ordered under Loeb. And I think Kevin Feige, he got in there and he's just like, no.
Yeah, Jeff Loeb, he's old school comic book creator. Really. I mean, he wrote a lot of stuff, did a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. He's done a lot. I looked him up. I know him because of Batman and other shows and movies, but I didn't realize he was responsible for everything. Everything we've ever watched, Marvel. Mm-hmm. Well, he's written a lot of comics too.
I mean, all of the Netflix stuff, I thought that stuff was great. And it's a lot different than what Disney and Marvel is putting out now.
But still good.
Yeah, Loeb, you can just tell he's old school.
Mm-hmm.
The thought of Ghost Rider and Son of Satan is his childhood stuff, right? He was writing Batman in the late 90s, which would mean this was, Helstrom and Ghost Rider. They were probably his childhood comics.
Yeah, they're making a lot of those shows for Disney Plus that are based on older comics too.
Right, I know, but they're not of this ilk. What are they going to do with Blade? Blade's coming out. Are they going to put that on Disney Plus? I mean, it's going to be a lot of killing. It's going to be rated R.
Be rated G.
Oh, come on. It's going to be a defanged Blade.
I didn't think that far in advance, Curry.
They can't connect all these things to the MCU like what Feige wants to do. I mean, some of this stuff are standalone properties, and you could build epic movie series and show series out of these characters. Mm-hmm. I would love to see some more Blade movies. That would be great.
Well, they're making one.
We'll see where it goes.
Oh, talking about what they're going to rate Blade, is it going to be R? Are they going to have killing? Because it seems like they put more of their adult stuff on Hulu. We looked it up. Disney owns 60% of Hulu, which is a lot.
I think a little bit more than 60%, but that's what we were all, or I was shocked. I say we, the investment community that was watching Disney was shocked when they released Disney Plus because they have a controlling interest in Hulu. What goes on Hulu, Disney says. They have a controlling interest in Hulu. Either why not just buy the rest of that, and that's the Disney platform. It could be Disney, Hulu by Disney or something.
It's probably a lot of money.
Oh, I'm sure it's a lot of money, but It's just weird seeing what's going to be on Hulu versus what's going to be on Disney Plus, right?
I don't think Ghost Rider and Helstrom, they would never put that on the Disney Plus platform. I don't think.
They're going to have to. There's a lot of stuff. People want deep, rich content. It isn't all princesses and...
Yeah, but I think that's what Disney stands for more. Because like your family can get on there and your kids are going to not see anything crazy and weird and...
Yeah, that's true.
Safe content.
Yeah. Maybe that's their strategy. Maybe all the gritty stuff's going to be on Hulu. I love Hulu. The anime selection on Hulu is really, really fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Marvel's getting the animated series MODOK.
Yeah.
Where we watched that at New York Comic-Con panel.
It's like claymation animated. First off, I hate claymation. Hate them all. I hated the Thunderbirds. I hated all of them. Nightmare Before Christmas. All of them.
You're going to get hate for that.
I hated them all.
What about Gumby and Pokey?
Hate them. I don't like claymation. I never have. I watched this MODOK and I cannot wait to watch it. Like, it looks so great. I'm older now and things what I didn't like, I might like now. Like, I never liked 3D cartoons either. Like Power Rangers. Remember when Power Rangers went to that weird 3D?
No, I do not.
Like computer generated animation instead of like hand drawn animation.
No.
Yeah, it was bad. Voltron did it. Transformers did it. They all went to
3D
this
3D animation.
No, I know it's not 3D animation like Clone Wars, like today. It's this like super computer generated looking animation. There was this transition that happened. It ruined almost all cartoons. I'll play you Voltron. You can see.
I want to watch Nightmare Before Christmas. I saw that in the movies when it came out. And I don't remember really liking it. I think I just thought it was mediocre. But it has such a following.
I know.
You see so much Nightmare Before Christmas merch and stuff.
I'll watch it.
I want to give it another go.
I'll watch it with you. For sure. I'll watch it with you. Isn't All of the Other Reindeer claymation too?
No, it's not. It's computer animated.
I know. Just messing with you.
I love that. They announced 4, but 2 of them got chopped, and I'm not sure about Hitmonkey.
Yeah, what about other Marvel properties that we've seen announced for Hulu?
There were 3 other shows announced to be on Hulu, and I know for sure that 2 of them got cut like right away. Howard the Duck, and that was going to be a Kevin Smith created show. I know Greg likes Kevin Smith.
I like him, but I hate his work.
And then also The Offenders, and that was going to combine MODOK and Howard the Duck. And then the other show we haven't talked about, Hitmonkey. I couldn't find anything right now that said that Hitmonkey has been canceled, so I'm guessing it's still going to be created. I don't know. But The Offenders was supposed to tie MODOK, Hitmonkey, and Howard the Duck together. It's kind of like The Defenders. They're the Offenders.
It's a good thing they canceled that garbage.
You think?
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind would be, would they all be claymation? Because if they tie them together, that would have to make them all claymation.
That's what I'm guessing.
Which would be really weird. I could see MODOK being claymation because it's really funny. Like, it's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But the other ones, it just seems like you would have to either have like 2D animation or 3D.
A little goes a long way with claymation.
Yeah.
Like 1 show maybe is good, but 2 or 3, I can't see myself sitting down and binge watching a bunch of claymation. I just don't see it.
If you know of any good claymation shows or movies we need to watch to change Greg's mind,
I just badmouthed
let us
all
know
of
in
the
the
good
comments.
ones. All of the good ones. The Thunderbirds.
I bet there's a bunch of stuff that we don't know about.
Maybe. It's a good thing Kevin Smith's got He-Man still working because he might be pretty sad about Howard the Duck.
Yeah, the other day, Howard the Duck was trending on Twitter, and I was looking at it. People were sad because it was some sports person. I don't even know what it was, but they were like, "Oh, I thought that this was going to be about Howard the Duck."
People, I think, would love Howard the Duck. If they did it right, I would watch it.
Yeah, I think so.
Anything else you want to say about Helstrom?
I'm a little sad that they're not making a season 2.
I'm really sad
There's
about it.
so many shows coming out to the Marvel Universe that hopefully those make up for it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, we're getting so many. WandaVision.
If we ever get them. The short answer is we recommend that you watch this. If you love it, join our Facebook group. We can talk about it. If you want to have a read through of the comics together and talk about how they're different, join the group and we'll do it. They're all on the Marvel Unlimited. I looked them up. They're all on there.
Yeah, that Marvel Limited is amazing because
I know
you can just read pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, it's really good. Thank you for listening to this episode of Fan Dummies. Please subscribe, rate, and write us a review if you haven't already. As always, links to our Patreon, our Facebook group, and our merch store will be in the show notes. Thank you so much to Hulu for sponsoring this episode. Check out Helstrom. It's streaming on Hulu now. Go check it out. It's good. Write Kevin Feige a note on Twitter and tell him to get us a season 2. We're adults. We can see some rated R stuff. It's fine. It's good.
But kill the demon baby before season 2 starts.
Yeah.
Like, start it off with,
the demon baby needs to like choke on a broccoli or something. Just go out like...
That's not funny, Greg.
Just go out old school. You know, like slip on the front porch or something.
That's not funny either. These are real things.
I know.
Oh, she'll get blasted away by the blood.
I'm just talking about all the ways I'm worried about going out. Those are the most scariest ways to die for me. So
I see.
If you want to reach out to us, we are at FanDummies on all social media. If you send us a nice note, Aaron will reply. If you send us a mean one, I will reply.
And I'll cry.
Aaron will cry. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much. We appreciate every one of you. Bye.
Bye.